So 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, my friend, who's 75 years old, was awoken by the light coming on from outside and shining through his room. So he got up blurry-eyed and looked out and met by a face at the window. And he just sort of told the guy to go away, a youngish guy, probably drunk. A few minutes later, the guy was still out there, so he called the police. And they said, yeah, we'll be round. Half an hour later, no police, but the guy was then appeared to be trying to get into Vic's car. So he got a bit more panicked, but bravely thought, okay, I'm going to open the door and tell this guy to go, that the police are on their way. And he rephoned the police and they said, yeah, we will be there, but still no police. So this was an hour, and he went out to the guy. Now Vic's an evangelist, has been, but also has come from a very broken background, was in prison as a young man and grew up in foster care. So Vic said to this guy, what's your name? And he told him, and he was an Algerian. And he said, why don't you come in and have a cup of coffee? I wouldn't have been so brave, whatever God might have been saying. So he came in, and Vic decided the only way was to let the guy sleep this drunken state off. So he offered him his bed. And next morning Vic was sharing that he'd had a bad night on Facebook, and in capital letters, which usually means someone's shouting at you, capital letters said, if this guy thinks he can wake me up at 3 a.m. and get away with not knowing the gospel, he's mistaken.
I love
I
it.
could just imagine Vic saying this. So all of us were following with quite interest. There was loads of people coming on saying, well, what happened? What happened next? So Vic said, well, I've gone off to see my wife who's in a nursing home, and I've left him sleeping this off in bed. As I say, it won't be the exact story for you, but it was about listening to God. And he said, I just want God to get the glory. So he came back, the guy was still sleeping it off, and he decided that he would wake him. And as the guy woke up, and I think he was a bit bemused where he was, Vic shared the gospel with him. And he gave him, Vic has written a book, so he gave him his book. And the guy was obviously very, very bemused by all of this. That somebody would, give up their bed in the middle of the night. And it probably turned out he wasn't trying to break into the car, but just leaning on it. And then he called some friends to come and pick him up. So 3 friends turned up to pick this guy up. And Vic shared the gospel with them. They weren't getting away with it either. And it was just, God, what are you doing? You know, humanly speaking, I would not advise anybody here, whatever your age, to be opening the door and inviting a drunken unknown into your home, letting them sleep it off before sharing Jesus with them. But I think just somebody this morning has been sort of challenged by who they might be sharing Jesus with. And Vic wanted God to have the glory, but these guys went away and we don't know what their end story might become. But he just said, share this with your churches today. But God needs the glory. So we just pray that these guys, 4 or 5 guys, would today be thinking, wow, if someone's willing to do that for me, then there must be more to God than that they think or imagine.